stand in a circle.
Holding hands.
I'm not gonna videotape you. They all stand in a circle holding hands.
One jumps in.
Yeah.
Jumps out. The other one jumps in. But
And
they
that's
all
all-
do this in rhythm.
Oh, okay.
So.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
And I couldn't believe.
That sounds a whole lot like exactly what they do at Jewish weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're just copycatting. Listen, this is what I did. Okay, hold on. So this, my dad doesn't want to be on camera, so he's 72. I guess I will listen to him one time in my freaking life. Okay, so here's what I would do when we would go to the clubs and stuff. I would be like, do you remember the electric slide? You don't remember? It's electric. Oh, hold on. You can do it. It's electric. You don't remember that? Anyway, okay, so that's what I would do. Like, this one girl, she would just stand there like this. And I'd be like, how are you doing that? She's like, what? Like, every time we would go out dancing, like, all she would do is just this. And I thought she just looked so freaking cool because she barely moved. And she'd just be like, nodding her head, like, yeah. And now I know it's because her feet hurt because of the shoes she was wearing and she can't dance. But I was always, like, trying so hard to dance and shaking my butt and stuff. And you remember, I wasn't allowed to go to any Wakefield dances without you guys chaperoning. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, you were like, Robin, I gotta go to another stupid dance. You were like, stop being so sexy. And I was like, I can't help it. And you were like, I know, God, you're related to me. And I was like, Dad, you're so stupid. You used to say stupid shit like that. Anyway, so what I would do when I would go out in college for going to nightclubs and stuff like that, I would just like do the electric slide kind of, but I would like do my own little hip, like little, and I would like, you know, yeah, like throw back like that and stuff. And people would be like, wow, you've got moves. And I'm like, I'm just doing the electric slide. And then this is my favorite part of the electric slide because all you're doing is going tap down, tap up. But that was everybody's favorite. They were like, what are you doing right there? And I'm like, I'm not doing the electric slide. That's for damn sure right now. And that's all I would do over and over. And guys would come up and they'd be trying to dance with me. I'd be like, I got my own thing going on. Thanks. And they'd be like, damn, she must be that good. It was like Save the Last Dance, but it was get the fuck away from me. Don't rub your dick on me, because that's all they want to do. I know, it's really unfortunate.
I think the only kid that probably can't dance, but I don't know, because I've never seen him try, is Andrew.
I'm sure Andrew could dance. I know you can do the headbang.
I know he has the rhythm, because he's a drummer, but
yeah.
That's probably why he doesn't dance.
Oh, no, think about Houston. Oh, you never saw Houston dance. Oh, my God, it was always so embarrassing, and he always made this really stupid face. And I remember one day we were walking down the street and someone was like, hey, Shermanator! And like they said something stupid about because it was American Pie and like his red hair. And I remember he started tearing up and he was just crying. And I was like, it's not your fault they came out with a movie and there just happened to be a guy that looks exactly like you. He's like, but why did he have to be so weird? I was like, oh, honey, you're way weirder. You're way, way weirder. He was like crying and we had all of our stuff to make a cheesecake. And we're walking down the street and he's like, I was like, oh, you are really weird. That's why I didn't understand how he cheated on me with so many girls. I'm like, how did you talk 8 girls into sleeping with you in the first place? Because you barely talked me into it for to be honest with you, sir. And yeah, that still remains a mystery. I imagined his numbers at 9 now. May his days of glory rest in peace. Because he went to Rappahannock County High School. We were the ugliest group of kids in the world. I've been looking at my yearbook recently. They put all the fuglies in Rappahannock County. I'm pretty sure. Somebody just buzzed in. That means that somebody does not like what I said. But they put all the fuglies there. You get so quiet because you get nervous, and then I start talking because I get nervous, and that's the opposite.
The person in our family that I thought would be the least likely to be a good dancer, who actually was Aaron. Because he was.
Oh, Aaron was a good dancer?
Aaron was overweight.
He thinned out when he hit
moves.
puberty. Oh, I got a headache now.
Oh.
See, I can't do this anymore. I can't do all this videotaping. I'm getting old, Dad. I aged myself.
All right.
All those darn drugs and felonious acts of felony.
Okay,
The other day I realized I was the only felon in the room and I was with a bunch of very rough looking individuals. They may or may not have all been male. And I looked around and I realized I was the scariest one. And I was like, this is delightful. I had a tea party over here.
You just got caught.
Yeah, that's true. Ain't that the truth? I didn't even get caught. That's the thing. I was like, I even told them, I was like, I would have told on myself if I had gotten caught. I was like, but I don't carry my weights around like they're a damn chia pet. I didn't even have weights back then. Scales, whatever you call them. What's wrong? Oh. You had to talk to Eddie about that one because I'm not claiming any knowledge of that. What's wrong with it? Wait, hold on, Dad. No. You don't have to do it. What's wrong with it? Oh. Oh, that's okay. That's the purpose of it. It's not anything bad. Yeah. I just had to tell you that.
So,
Because
I'm a little bit nervous about
and we're not on
going to
recording.
my 50th class reunion.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be with all these really rich, successful people. And they're probably going to be wanting me to give money to the school.
No, all right, how about this?
I'm going to have to say no.
No, I'll be famous by then and you'll be like, why did you ask my daughter? She's rich and famous.
Did you hear about the latest scandal in regard to colleges?
No, what's that?
They've arrested 50 people and charged them with some kind of felony, including 2 well-known actresses apparently. They have been bribing different people in colleges or cheating on the SAT tests. They're arranging for their SAT tests to be either somebody to sit in or whatever for their children, to get their children into
Wow.
prestigious schools. And it includes, I think, Harvard and Yale and
Natalie Portman went to one of those Ivy League schools and she was actually brilliant. She's an actress and she's like brilliant. And you know what's funny? I went to Randolph-Macon Women's College and remember I got that record deal when I was 14 and the guy was like, chick, you'll be like Britney Spears. Like Britney Spears, her producer and I are BFFs. And I was like, I don't care, I want to go to college and be smart. He goes, you can go to college anytime. And I was like, I know, I could be in college right now, but I'm not. I'm still in high school. And then I want to go to college at the appropriate time. I remember I said that. And Hazel looked at me and she was like, Robin, she's like, I'll take your card, sir, and I'll give it to her mother. And he looked at me and he goes, no. You tell me now. No? And I said, no. He goes, you'll never get another chance, kid. And I said, okay.
good.
And I smiled at him and he was like, he was livid that I had turned him down. Like, how dare you? Do you know who I am? And I didn't know who he was. But I still, like, I've been talking about it lately. I'm like, I would be probably wealthy right now, but I'd be washed up. I would have been a one-hit wonder. I would have been one of the druggy ones because I would have been eventually, yeah, hey, let's try it. And then I would have been suicide, and then I would have come back, and then everybody would have called me a liar for what I just went through. Do you know what the advantage of being at the bottom of the totem pole is? When you kill yourself and then nobody gives a flying fuck? I can tell people now, and now they will give a flying fuck because who would have believed me if I was famous? I could have just been making it up. Who is the least biggest drama queen ever? I mean, for real. I don't like being in the limelight. I don't like those videos that I do. I don't like that sometimes I say things on accident that hurt people's feelings. I don't like that there are people who comment, oh, this bitch has so many issues, or, oh God, lock her up, and blah, blah, blah. And that's what, when I got really heated the other day, and I was like, all right, we're doing this, Dad. I was like, I'm sorry, but if I'm going down, I'm going down with the black people, because I'm going down on their side. Because this is all a bunch of trollers who are calling me, and then when the black people watch it, they're like, Robin, do another one. Robin, do another one. I've got friends who are on there, and they're like, Robin, come on. And I'm like, you realize what this does to me, right? And one of them, he said, I will come to your house every night and sit outside with a shotgun. He said, I don't care. You need to do this. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. He goes, just keep being you. I'm not going to tell you. Just do it. He's like, about black and white, whatever, and they think that I'm being racist. I'm not being a comedian either. I'm sitting here and saying, look, I am borderline autistic. My parents didn't get me diagnosed because they didn't believe in mental health issues, whatever, we're gonna ignore that part. But just look at me. Borderline autistic, right? So here's the thing, is that like, white people have this white guilt that we don't talk about over racism, or over slavery. Black people, well no, we do, we all do, because we all have that sense of like, oh, we did something really, really bad, and we respect and honor our black United States citizens because we're like, hey, we really fucked you guys over for however, I mean, how long was it? A couple hundred years? I don't know. Because we've only been around for a couple hundred years.
You know, there was a lot of owners, Thomas Jefferson being one, who were against slavery.
Yeah, but he had slaves.
That's what I'm saying.
And he treated them like family. And that's actually a perfect example of somebody who loved them, but he still took them in as concubines instead of like, he never got married. Did he get married? He did get married.
Yeah, he was married. But he also sowed the seeds in his, government position for getting rid of slavery. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So the
So
thing
he
is,
did the right thing. So he had to
by
be a part of it. Yeah.
by establishing,
Yeah, you're right.
and also, this is, a lot of people don't know this.
I accidentally fed that police the other
The
day.
white people, who were mostly Christian, but some of them they were nominal, what do you call nominal Christian?
Mm-hmm.
They did all the things to act like Christian.
Oh yeah,
in public,
like
but in
Southern
private,
Baptists
they-
today. Yeah, like Southern Baptists. Yeah,
Anyhow, so
I'm listening.
they realized that the Bible helps to teach people how to obey,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted the slaves to obey them.
Yeah.
So they made the slaves have Bibles,
Christianity.
learn Christianity.
Yeah.
And
Which is fucked up.
yeah, but what they didn't realize was the slaves read the scriptures
Cause
talked about being free.
Yeah. And that's why I sit here and joke about it all the time when I'm like, the meek shall inherit the earth. We got you, God. Because that's what God was saying. That's what the Bible, anyway. And I'm not going to get
It
into
says
this.
who the truth sets free or makes free is free indeed.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means that as long as you're teaching truth, people are going to want freedom,
Yeah.
and they will be free
Okay.
because they'll get into this narrative. I need to be free,
Yeah.
and I can be free.
Yeah. Well, that's what, I don't understand all these people these days that can't tell the truth. And that's why I said, if I'm in court, I'm going to tell you whether I did it or not. I'm going to plead guilty or not guilty, and I'm going to bank on having a good lawyer. But that's why I was like, why is my lawyer asking me to lie on something I don't want to lie about because I'm not guilty? And he's like, oh, it's easier to just da-da-da-da. And that's what, do you know that that's actually why Chuck and I got in that huge argument? Is I said, you know what, Chuck? I know that you went to Wake Forest on a tennis scholarship, but you still have to do work if you're going to charge me $8,000 or however much you charged. And I was like, you can't just phone it in because I'm white. And he said, excuse me? And I said, I've seen your other clients, dude, because I used to do the food kitchen, the soup kitchen next door. Not only did I volunteer, I took food home at the end of the day. So don't sit here and tell me, I'm spilling everywhere. Don't sit here and tell me that what you're doing isn't political. And that's why I asked him one day. I was like, oh, are you planning on running for office one day, Mr. Blah, blah? And he was like he stuttered. And I was like, oh, did I make you stutter? And he didn't want to answer. And I was like, see, I know a politician when I see one. But you don't like the color of my skin. And that's not fair, because I don't have a problem with the color of anybody else's skin, just like Jay Quan doesn't have a problem with the color of my skin. But everybody's got a problem with our skins being next to each other, and that's the problem.
So,
Sorry.
what's his name? Lawyer went to Wake Forest, right?
Yeah,
On
on
a,
a tennis scholarship.
Wake Forest was.
I didn't play tennis. We didn't have money for a fucking racket.
Wake Forest, sure we did.
I didn't think we had money for a racket, okay? Back then we were hand-me-downs and go to the Flatwood Mall and figure it out. If it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, put a belt on it.
Anyhow, Wake Forest is one of the schools that was named in that scandal I was talking
I bet it was. I bet it
about.
was.
They do all the sports like tennis and.
You know what wasn't named in that? I bet your motherfucking ass Randolph Macon Women's College wasn't. Well, mostly because it's not a college anymore, but yeah, that too.
I hope Duke wasn't named.
I just smelled man. I smelled very strong man. Very strong man smell. It wasn't me.
Well, I guess I'm the only man.
I guess it was no, but it was young man. I smell young man.
Okay.
Hurry! Take off the peacock leggings and try to act normal for 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll go upstairs.
All right, I love you. Thank you for all of our deep discussions that we have.